This piece, the Liebestraum by Franz Liszt, is in the Piano Adventures lesson book 3b. Liebestraum literally means love's dream or dream of love. It's the German Traum for dream, and Liebe is the word for love. Now, Liszt wrote 3 of these dreams of love. This is the third and by far the most popular, perhaps one of the best-known piano pieces of Franz Liszt altogether. And it has a wonderfully singable melody, for one reason, because it's almost all on one note. Because the melody stays on the same note for such a long time, and so when teaching this piece, we need to make sure the students know how to make a melody like this on the piano sing. Partly we can do this by phrasing, having a high point of each phrase and making sure we go towards that high point and back. And the harmonies will help us do that. Here we start with the C chord and go to an E major, which is a little unexpected. And then we go even further away to an A major chord. And finally, the highest point of the phrase is with a D chord, with this E. Really unexpected harmony. But now Liszt works his way back to chords that we would expect. So both the dynamic shaping of the phrase and the harmonies can help us to make sense of this phrase and make it sound like it's being sung at the piano. This phrase repeats then in measure 7, and the bass opens up. It goes an octave lower, plays the same chords, but just in a more open fashion, providing a very rich kind of sound. And the phrase closes off just like the first one. Now we come to a middle section, the third phrase in this arrangement of the piece, with F minor chords, also a little unexpected. But in the score, you'll see the word agitato, which means a little bit more motion, a little bit more excitement. So you can speed up the tempo here a little bit as well. And that was the climax of the whole piece, with a long fermata. And I would suggest you have your students take a little breath before they start. The final phrase, which is in essence a repeat of the first phrase. There's an interesting little mini coda at the end of this. Measure 22. Here we have those signs for rolled chords for the first time. My tip for these rolled chords would be the following. Students often like to drop their arm on the first note, and it gets in the way a little bit. What we want to hear is the melody usually, and so if we go from the keys very, very softly and think of a little crescendo playing these chords. If the students practice it slowly a few times, then they can get a lovely sound with arpeggiated chords. So here's the entire arrangement.